Susan Elizabeth, that's a story coming up tonight on our news at 10 that we thought you would be surprised about, some of it at least. Empty nesters embracing downtown living.
I think we're really doing the right thing at this point in our life by being here.
I love it. Couples are taking advantage of downsizing and that downtown experience. I know I was talking with the downtown council, Susan Elizabeth, just within the last week or so, and I asked, who are these people who live downtown? I live downtown.
Yes.
And I see, a lot of people in their early 20s, even early 30s, but they say the empty nesters are really just surging right now.
60% is the number I've
Wow.
gotten. 60% are empty nesters, baby boomers, retirees. It's a real thing. I actually got the idea for this story because I had done some stories with real estate agents over the past 6 months.
Sure.
And they had said, my clients, if they were in the suburbs or downtown, are saying empty nesters wouldn't be downtown. They're selling their suburban homes, and it is a real thing, and they are having a ball.
It's very interesting because I think the perception is that downtown is a young person's game. It's where the kids are, the 20-somethings. It's not where the 50s, 60s, 70s.
The people who are missing are like you. People
Yeah.
who live in the suburbs with 2 kids.
Kind of the late 30s,
Right.
40s, early 50s.
But I was dying to do the story with you or talk about it because I wanted to know if you guys had considered this, knowing what a foodie you are.
We would love to live downtown, without a question. We actually have told our children, who, mind you, are almost 11 and 8, that as soon as the youngest goes to college, we are selling our house in Maple Grove and moving downtown. That's always been the plan. Like, as soon as they're off at college, like, we will have a place
You're
for you to
there.
sleep while you're in college.
And
but
what
like,
are
then
the
we're
big
coming
things that
downtown.
appeal to you?
Oh man, there's so much excitement, so much going on. The walkability, the access to transit,
Yep.
the fact that you are in the middle of the action.
How about just not having a giant house to clean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, having a yard to take care of. Like, my parents had talked about this too, and my dad just doesn't want to deal with that anymore. They live out in Denver. My dad wants to move downtown. My mom doesn't want to give up her garden. She doesn't want to give up the yard for the dog to run around. So, I mean, that's the conversation that you have to have.
You do have to have that conversation. But I can only find a few cons from what people tell me. And one of them being, like Kyla, you talked about, where would I stay when I went to mom and dad's house?
My parents talk about downsizing all the time. I'm like, well, where would I sleep? And they're like, you're an adult.
Yeah,
like, you
Motel
can get a
6.
hotel room.
Right,
It's fine.
exactly.
But the cool thing is several of the buildings downtown actually have guest suites in there. So for like $100 a night, you can get your family in there. They're in the middle of the action too. And I want you guys to know I didn't give away all the information here. There's lots more to talk about, and I'll have that tonight at 10.
People will be surprised how much people are spending to live downtown
Yes.
as well. So that'll
Interesting.
be part
Yes,
of it
it's a
tonight at
lot.
10.
It's costly.
Very good. Susan Elizabeth, cool.